This meeting is convened in accordance with the provisions of the Open Publics Meeting Act of New Jersey. Let the official minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publishing a notice in the Asbury Park Press on Tuesday, January 8th, 2019, and also forwarded to the Toms River Times, Toms River Patch, and WOBM News on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2019, and thereafter posting same on the Town Hall Bulletin Board for such notices and filing same with the Township Clerk pursuant to resolution adopted by the Township Council on January 3rd, 2019. The notice was also published on the Township webpage. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Here.
Councilman Kubel.
Present.
Councilwoman Maruka.
My understanding is Councilwoman Maruka is out of state. I'd move for an excused absence.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilman Roderick.
Here.
Councilman Turnbach.
Here.
Council Vice President Hill.
Here.
Council President Whitman.
Here.
First item, the minutes of October 8th, 2019.
Move the minutes.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Abstain, I was not present.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Next, for our honoring resolutions and presentations tonight, we have Extra Mile Day, Veterans Day Proclamation, the Veteran Essay Contest winners, the Veterans Parade Grand Marshal Proclamation, the retirement of Alan Simister, and the paving and capital improvements presentation.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Kubel,
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick,
Yes.
Councilman Roderick,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill,
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes. At the request of the Extra Mile Day folks, they're going to be moved to the last presentation after the paving and capital improvements presentation. And with that, I'd ask the council to come up and join me in well. I'd ask Councilman Hill to come up and do the Veterans Day presentation and discuss the essay winners and the parade grand marshal.
Thank you, George. As you know, we have two holidays during the year where we celebrate our military veterans. One is Memorial Day, where we celebrate those who've paid the ultimate sacrifice. This is a little bit more of a joyous holiday. We celebrate the service of everyone who's been in the military. And I'd like to, with that, call up our Veterans Commission, front and center. You could, why don't you come on all up? Come on up. Come on.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Aren't you guys coming up? Come on, come on. Don't be bashful. Don't be bashful. You're veterans. You can come up here. I'm going to turn it over to the chairman.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming to this brief presentation. Is that better? Okay. Want to thank everybody for coming as we recognize two of our local heroes as Grand Marshals, as well as the students who participated in our essay contest. And I'd like to turn everything over right now to my parade chairman, Len Mayerson.
Thank you, Bob. He is the chairman of the Veterans Commission does an outstanding job every day, all year round. We met earlier today. Let me tell you, it's not just a short 30 days that we have to do this. It's 12 months out of the year. My name is Len Mayerson. I'm a member Post 6063 right here in Toms River, and certainly a member of the Veterans Commission. The reason we're here tonight is the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States each year in September kicks off a Voice of Democracy program. And what that is an essay contest for intermediate school students and also high school students. This year's essay topic was What Makes America Great, and we have most of the winners present here tonight. If you wish, I will call them by their name, by their school, and what place they were. And initially, we're going to start here. Let me put glasses on. Those who have brought them, yes. Yes. The first one, Irini Vasilakis, is 8th grade at Intermediate South, and she is a 3rd place recipient. Come on back. No. Thank you. Thank you. The second place winner for intermediate, from Intermediate North, and an 8th grader is Christian Abaslamian. He may be reading. Are you going to be reading your? You have it.
Okay, once you get it, we'll have you read it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Division, third place winner, Gavin Monson. Gavin.
You were 5 years old. Summer winds waved the hoisted American flag that stood in front of your school. Everyone was told to circle it. Music played. Trees whispered. You were blinded by the light, and every time a cloud tucked the sun away, you were relieved. That was your main concern. You held the flag in your hand. Pride, history, ambition. The gravity of these aspects, the same aspects that galvanized generations of relentless pioneers and idealists, has slipped out of your hand. Neither you or the kids around you were able to grasp it, but you and them would soon embark on the journey of learning about the winds that blew the flag. You would soon learn what makes America great. The first aspect you would notice is that patriotism here is ubiquitous. The depth of passion that we have for our country is unbounded. It is stained on our clothes, our well-being, and our words. It is proudly shown like shameless advertising. What makes America great derives from this. It is through a shared belief in freedom and opportunity that fosters great people. Ones that can be found in our farms, our small towns, and our busy streets. This creates prosperity. Prosperity no other country in the world has ever seen. Tomorrow's thinkers yearn to be part of this American story. At 5 years old, you will soon learn about the moon landing, the Industrial Revolution, the Wright brothers, advances in human intellect and technology that can only be harbored in a country like America. No other country is as diverse as America, as inclusive and as welcoming as America. No other country has its history as deeply rooted into the notions of democracy like America. No other country has accomplishments like America. In 243 years, she has become a role model to the world, an embodiment of why democracy works. But as you stood there, a 5-year-old with an American flag in your hand, you could not fully comprehend the magnitude of your role as American and the merits and emotions associated with her. But as you stood next to your friends of various creeds and colors, all of them standing around the same flag, the feeling of pride rushed you like the wind. And at that point, it was, and still is, up to you where you take it. Thank you.
Anyone that comes up, if you have your speech, you can bring it up with you so we can have read it if you'd like.
The second place winner in the high school division, also from high school East, Iman Shah. First place winner, it's a trifecta for high school East, Brooke Jones.
Thank you very much, sir. Alan Simister has dedicated 30 years of his life to handle our facilities, mostly at our law enforcement center, 24-hour operation. Alan, come on up. I want to thank you for your years of service. Alan's helped take care of the facility and keep that operational 24/7 whether we have snow, sleet, rain, keeping the sidewalks accessible for our patrolmen to come in and out. Very nice job. Thank you very much. Alan? We have a plaque for you dedicating your 30 years of service. Come on and type. Thank you and best of luck on your endeavors from here on out.
You're welcome. At this time, we're going to ask our township engineer, Bob Shinkelian, to come up, and he has a presentation on the various capital projects and paving projects we're doing throughout the town. Come on up, Bob.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to take this opportunity to give a report on the engineering capital projects that's been going on in the township for the last year or so. One of the more popular projects the engineering department conducts every year is township-wide paving. Right now, you've probably seen in Guilford Park, where I'm about completed with that neighborhood. The 2018 paving program is almost complete. We expect that to be done in about 30 days. And with the $4.3 million contract that was awarded, we paved about 16 miles of road. Tonight, for the council's consideration, is the 2019 program, which is $3.9 million, and we're actually hoping to get almost a similar road mileage with that amount of money. And one of the reasons is back in 2009, when asphalt prices were going up and fuel prices, everybody can remember the price of gas. The public contracts law changed, and we have to pay the contractor each month based on the price of asphalt. The DOT prices issues this list or this website, and what we do is we take the price published for this month compared to what they bid. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but right now we're looking at $100 a ton for asphaltic cement, less than what it was last year. So that's why we're hoping to get a little more mileage for our money. Another popular question everybody asks is, when's my road going to be paved? This is the GIS map that the town uses. We actually rate the roads periodically. Red roads are bad, green roads are good. And what we do is we publish this map, and then as residents contact us about requests, we look at those roads. If they're in need of repair, we highlight them here on pink, and then we keep track of when they come in. And as we issue these contracts, we start at most current to least current, and we put those on the contract. This is the contract that's out right now that's on for consideration tonight, and these are the list of the streets. It may be hard to read, however, if you do want to go to the Toms River Township webpage tonight, under the engineering tab, this presentation is up there so you can actually see the list of the streets. Another project that we're currently working on right now is the Guilford Park Boat Ramp project. This is down at the end of, down by the Guilford Park Yacht Club. Unfortunately, this project's a little bit behind schedule. The contractor is not meeting his deadline. We're hoping in the next month or so. It's going to consist of a new boat ramp, docking, parking for oversized vehicles, boats, trailers. Right now, you can see the docking is complete, the decking, the elevated walkway, the boat ramp is actually in. The only thing that's really left right now is paving the parking lot and the light poles. So we're hoping within the next 30 days that'll be available to the public. Another project that was in design right now is Gardens of Pleasant Plains drainage. This whole neighborhood is older corrugated metal pipe. It's collapsing, so that's in design right now to replace that whole system. While we're there, we're probably going to upgrade some of the sidewalks and probably do some LED light upgrades because unfortunately most of the light posts are going to be disrupted when we excavate the pipes. Hospital Drive, unfortunately, we've had some issues with pedestrians crossing when they come out of Community Medical Center to some of the other medical facilities. There's kind of a bad hairpin turn, but people cross it because it's convenient. So we have bids received. We're going to probably ask the council to award that at the next meeting for a contract to install a crosswalk there and push-button activated beacons so that if you want to cross there, you can press it. It'll flash and let motorists know to stop and, aware of a pedestrian crossing. River Terrace Drainage is another project that is out to bid right now. As you can see, we have some problems. The low point in the road when the leaves build up, floods the road. We also found a collapsed pipe in the outfall, so this is going to be going out to bid, and hopefully it'll be a winter construction. Elevation of 6 Terrace. We've been having very good success with our roadway elevation projects. We've completed 4 so far. I met with the residents about 2 Fridays ago. They picked an elevation, and where the engineer has been retained. He's starting to prepare the design plans to get this project going. I'd also like to note that we actually got a DOT grant, so this helps. The township isn't funding all of the construction. We get some DOT money to offset burden to the local taxpayer. Township Skate Park is another project that's currently under design. We've chosen a selection next to Castle Park. We think that's going to be a very central, accessible area. There was a couple residents that were really pushing for this. We're actually involved them in the design process. They're meeting with our design consultant, and there's 2 different types of mixtures between skate parks. There's like the bowls, with certain types of style, and then there's also street skating. So we're trying to meet with them and let them pick a good combination for how the park should be designed. And then just moving on to some recently completed projects over in Riverwood Park, we've recently completed our first LED field lighting project that was operational this summer. Silverton stream cleaning, anybody who lives up there in the vicinity of Jeff Court, there was a lot of flooding. That whole channel had backed up, so we'd gotten the necessary DEP permits to go in there and clean that out. We took about 2 feet of sand out of the channel. There was a lot of debris that was in there, and we've gotten a lot of calls from residents saying how much better that is. They're not getting flooding during a rainfall event, so that was very successful. Red Carpet Inn, as most of you know, the building's now gone. While we're going through the redevelopment process, we constructed a temporary parking lot. This photo was taken hours after we striped it. You could see the parking lot was being used almost instantly. Pumpshire Road, that was another street elevation project that was completed around June of this year. And as was Bay Breeze and Sea Breeze down in the Silverton section. Again, you can see a picture with the residents there we're having to put up with during high tide events like last weekend. Interesting on this, a lot of the neighbors, the residents have actually called. Several of them have purchased new cars. They're so happy that their cars aren't rusting anymore. And again, this was another project where we received grant money from the state. And then lastly, some other projects that are recently completed, the kayak ramp in Ortley, Huddy Park. We did some striping and parking improvements up in North Beaches. And the bottom left is parking improvements to the girls' softball field or Veterans Park. That park has been tremendously successful. There was a lot of tournaments being held there, and we were having problems with parking. So this was opened about 3 weeks ago. We added another 115 parking spaces. And then lastly, this is just a map of all of the projects through the town. So if you take a look between roads being paved and all of these projects, you can see that there's really not a section in town where we don't have a project going on improving the township. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Does anyone have any questions of Bob before we go on to the next agenda item? Okay, thank you, Bob. Now, and our last item is the Extra Mile Day presentation, and I'll have Mo Hill present.
I gotta get my glasses.
Okay, well, I mean, what do you want? It's either you or me.
Yeah. Come on, man, bring them all up. Fire up the pipes. Yeah. How you doing? You had your 45th annual celebration, 45th on Saturday, right? So they had it was a great event. A couple of us were there, and it was a good time. They fired up the pipes. Whenever I go to Belmar, Belmar has the earliest, I think, St. Patrick's Day parade in New Jersey, and it's always about 30 degrees there, so it's a cold day. I want to call this group up and like to present you with your proclamation for the Extra Mile Day, and you're going to give us a little rendition here. We are. All right. I got the proclamation. Will you lead the troops?
Just want to thank you, Mayor and Council. Unfortunately, the Mayor's not here today, but he's one of our biggest supporters, helps us out every day, even though it's the Marine Corps, they're back and forth. But he is, with our parade, St. Patrick's Day parade committee people are here today too, and we really appreciate what you guys do for us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Band, lights down. And dismissed. Thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Great job.
She got you one of those outfits.
Fire up the pipes.
Go ahead, Allison.
Item 7 is an ordinance of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Section 477-59, Schedule 1, No Parking, of Chapter 477, Vehicles and Traffic, of the Township Code to reveal the reference to Broad Street, north side for its entire length, Broad Street south side from a point 90 feet west of the westerly curb line of Park Avenue to a point 50 feet west thereof. Broad Street, south side from a point 140 feet west of the westerly curb line of Park Avenue to a point 100 feet west thereof, and to establish no parking restrictions on the south side of Broad Street for its entire length.
This is a portion of the meeting open for public comment on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand, come to the microphone, and state your name and address for the record.
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move the ordinance on final.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Kubel, second by Councilman Turnbach. Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes.
Next, we have the consent agenda. All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately.
A is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing refund of overpayment of taxes to various properties. B is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing correction for payment in lieu of taxes for Nobility Crest at Dover LLC, now Toms River, LA HTC LLC. C is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the Division of Purchasing to advertise and receive proposals for services exempt from the bidding process for the 2020 calendar year. D is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing Robert J. Chankalian, Township Engineer, to execute a NJDEP Division of Land Use Regulations application form for a permit/authorization for the Toms River Field of Dreams project. E is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the Purchasing Division to dispose of vehicles from the Police Department by donating them to the Fire District for training purposes pursuant to NJSA 40A:11-36-2, which allows for the sale or disposal of personal property to another contracting unit without advertising for public bid or auction. F is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the purchase of grounds equipment for Bailey Golf Course utilizing ESD&J Cooperative Contract Number 18/19-25 from Turf Equipment and Supply Company in the maximum amount not to exceed $49,871.20, and also authorizing the purchase of certain items of ground equipment for Bailey Golf Course not under ESD&J Number 18/19-25 from Turf Equipment and Supply Company in the maximum amount not to exceed $488.96 for a total maximum amount not to exceed $50,360.16. G is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing an application for Section 5310 program funding from Federal Transit Administration for new senior citizen buses for municipal programs. H has been removed. I is a resolution of the Township Council amending budget revenues and appropriations to increase existing shared service agreements with the Township of Manchester Construction Office. J is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing an amendment to resolution dated December 12, 2017, which authorizes the award of a contract to Mazer Consulting, PA, to assist the engineering division in the design and field lighting for the Riverwood soccer fields, for a total maximum contract amount not to exceed $41,750, in order to amend the total amount of the contract by an additional $1,300 for field changes requested by the contractor, for a new revised contract amount not to exceed $43,050. K is an amendment to a resolution of the Township Council dated August 13, 2019, authorizing the purchase of Bosch 5000i series security cameras for the youth center from Pinnacle Integrated Systems Incorporated in the total contract amount not to exceed $18,064.39, in order to add one additional security camera for an additional amount of $692.74, for a total maximum contract amount not to exceed $18,757.13. L is a resolution of the Township Council changing vendors from Wilfred McDonald Incorporated, as they can no longer supply the requested equipment, to North Jersey Bobcat for the purchase of one Ventrac tractor for Bailey Golf Course using ESC&J Cooperative Contract Number 18/19-25 in the total maximum contract amount not to exceed $40,916.10. No additional funds are required for this resolution. M is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing award of a contract to Earl Asphalt Company as lowest bidder, meeting all the bid specifications for the 2018 Township-wide paving program at a total contract price not to exceed $3,916,013.00. N is a resolution of the Township Council imposing charges incurred under Section 3 of the 2006 International Property Maintenance Code as a lien on real property, and directing the tax collector to collect these costs and impose interest on unpaid costs in the same manner as provided for in the collection of real estate taxes in the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey. O is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing a person-to-person transfer of plenary retail consumption liquor license 1507-36-016-003 from Parsco Incorporated to Tiramula LLC, doing business as Howard Johnson by Wyndham. P is a resolution of the Township Council accepting reduced performance guarantees for a minor subdivision known as Block 710, Lot 174.02 at Longfellow Avenue. And Q is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a minor site plan known as Block 394, Lot 49.02 at 1786 Hooper Avenue.
Okay, I'd like to have items E and I removed for a roll call. And anyone else from the council like an item removed to be discussed separately? Okay. Anyone from the public would like to have an item discussed separately? Yes. Wouldn't you just tell us what item? What item would you like it? Okay. Why don't you come up and you can ask the question? Can you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Thank you. My name is Mary Malagieri, 101 Maple Tree Road, Toms River. And my question about Nobility Crest and that it has payment in lieu of taxes, and I know that seems to be that we've been doing that. My question is, why is it that Nobility Crest is at that category level? Can you answer that?
I can ask our planner to come up and answer the question. Dave Roberts.
Sure. I didn't know why Nobility Crest is listed as in that category as payment in lieu of taxes.
Okay, I think I can answer that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President. This is actually a correction, and also in terms of the public, on an affordable housing project known as the Willows. The Nobility Crest is the actual original entity that engaged in that property, but the low-income tax credit project is what funded it. This actually has to do to an adjustment having to do with a lot that was used to establish the pre-pilot tax payment. There was a new lot created for that project. I think it was lot 15.02. The assessment was based on the original lot prior to the subdivision, so we're correcting that. But the entity that technically is the contracting entity, original name was Nobility Crest at Dover. The entity that actually owns the property is called the Ingerman Group.
Okay, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
All right, you know what, we can discuss it separately, but I'm not sure how much, yeah. Okay.
So we're,
Anyone else? Okay, can we have,
Move the consent agenda other than items E and I.
okay, can we have a second on that?
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Kubel, to move the balance of the agenda with the exception of E and I. Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes. We have a separate roll call on item E. Okay, so somebody has to offer up item E. Make a motion on item E.
Move, second?
Motion made by Councilman Roderick, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel?
Abstain, I have a conflict.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes. Now we need a,
Move item E, I.
yes.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Roderick. Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
I have a conflict, I need to abstain on that.
Next on the agenda, there are no reports, so we'll move on to the bills.
Move the bills.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Kubel, second by Councilman Turnbach. Councilman Kubel?
Abstain to PO 19-02224 payable to Vetcor, and PO 19-05249 payable to Remington Vernick Engineers only as it pertains to line 24, Community Medical Center, and line 3 as it pertains to Community Medical Center. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Turnbach?
I'll abstain from PO 19-05250 and 19-05688 payable to Dasty McGuckin, local attorney in town. I have a conflict with Dasty McGuckin. Yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Abstain from PO 19-05249 and 19-05254 payable to Remington and Vernick, and abstain from PO 19-05697 only as it pertains to Recreation Department payroll. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Roderick?
I have no conflicts, I vote yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes with the following abstentions: 19-03424, payable to Board of Education, Toms River Schools; 19-05208, 19-05692, 19-05701, 19-05704, and 19-05705 payable to Owen Little Associates, and 19-05249 only as it pertains to line 24 Community Medical Center. I'm on their Board of Trustees. Yes to the balance.
Council President Whitman?
Yes, with the following two exceptions. I need to abstain from purchase order number 19-05363, payable to Area Properties in the amount of $907.59, and Remington and Vernick, purchase order 19-05254, 254 on page 49 as it pertains to area properties in the amount of $3,483.26. I have a conflict on both of those. Yes to the balance.
Next.
Madam Clerk, do we have enough votes to approve the Dasty and McGuckin law bills? I think there was 3 abstentions to that. No, it's you.
We count two abstentions.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Next are the elected officials' comments.
Okay, we'll start off with Councilman Turnback.
Thank you, Council President. On a light note, we always like to promote our downtown and our downtown businesses, and I was happy to see when I came back from court today, there was an article on 92.7's Facebook page that said that Uncle Dude's Donut Shop was named the best donut shop in the state of New Jersey. And
wow.
I'd ask maybe the council to see if we can consider either a resolution or a proclamation acknowledging that. It's a local business, it's a great business, very family friendly, and they continue to receive awards year in, year out as the best donut shop. So I was hopeful that we could do that and, again, promote our downtown and our downtown businesses. On a more serious note, I'm going to ask the council possibly to consider a resolution at our next meeting to support something we've been supporting throughout this year, and that's Senate Bill S-3422, which is really a bill that started here on this day. It's related to Code Blue. It's a bill that Senator Singer took on with many other senators, and it calls for the change in the law in the state of New Jersey to call for a Code Blue whenever the temperature reaches 32 degrees as opposed to 32 without precipitation, or 32 with precipitation, 25 without. So it's a bill that is close to all of our heart up here. We have supported it in the past. What's gone on is this bill has been presented for the Senate June 20th, 2019. The bill passed with a 34-2 vote in the Senate. It was referred over to the Assembly and is in a subcommittee of the Assembly, which actually Assemblyman McGuckin sits on. So my hope is that we can consider a resolution in support of this bill. Code Blue runs really from November through March, so it would be timely. And just encourage them to finish the job, and let's get this passed before the Assembly and up to the governor to sign. It's an important bill. It'll save lives. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Urick.
As usual, I'm just making everybody aware of the activities going on around town. So this Saturday from 9 to 12, we have the Clean Ocean Action beach sweeps. There are 60 locations up and down the coast in New Jersey. Of course, we have a couple of locations right here in Toms River Township, so I'll be at Ortley Beach. And also on Saturday from 5 to 9, we have the Halloween Hayride at Bailey Golf Course. And then, of course, on the 31st, next Thursday, we'll have our Halloween Parade, which kicks off at 7 o'clock in the vicinity of the office. So we hope you'll join us for some of those activities.
Thank you. Councilman Kubel.
No further comments, sir.
Councilman Roderick.
I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed hearing our students' essays. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say I was very proud to hear from them, and I'm also very proud of our veterans, and I just wanted to wish everyone a happy Veterans Day. That's all I have.
Thank you. Council Vice President Hill.
Thank you, Council President. Again, Lori mentioned the hayride this Saturday at 5 p.m. A number of the students will be working in the field. They're going to dress in costumes, so as the hayride goes around, they'll be in different costumes staged throughout the golf course. It's always a good time. I think they have well over 100 people coming in for this. Also, again, we have a Halloween parade on Thursday, the 31st, and trick-or-treating will be the day before on Wednesday on the 30th. Also, we have our Veterans Day parade coming up on the 11th. So please get out and support the veterans. We had the two grand marshals here today. We honored them, and also the students with their essays, which is always something to listen to. I mean, these students hit the nail on the head, and I was particularly impressed with the first gentleman who is an immigrant from, I believe, Lebanon.
Lebanon, yes.
And I thought his essay was particularly poignant, particularly from someone who's come from another country that I think often opens our eyes to the wonders of this country and the freedoms that we all tend to take for granted. So with that, turn it back over to the president.
Thank you. I have no further comments. Earlier, Mrs. Malagiri asked a question about item B, and I'd ask that Mr. Roberts meet with her and kind of go through this, because it's a fairly elaborate explanation. So if you would meet with her and go through this, and if there's additional questions beyond that, would you email her the answer? Because it's not, I felt that it wasn't, she wasn't still satisfied. All right, thank you. All right, at this point, we'll open up the meeting for public comments. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand and come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Okay, come on up.
Mary Malagiri, 101 Maple Tree Road. I wanted to thank the clerk's office. I had to call them because I saw a legal notice in the paper concerning land use regulation and resolution, and that's really a hot-button issue, as we all know. And I said, well, what is this one about? And they were very helpful in leading me to the right thing, and they even emailed me a copy of the ordinance. So I wanted to say thank you. My other question was, which I didn't keep the gentleman on the phone, was what is different about that? Does it have to do with the bus shelters? Is that the new piece of that with the illustration? Do you know?
What are we referring
I think
to?
that was what we passed at the last meeting.
No, that's part.
Yeah, and you're going to vote on it in November.
Yeah, and then it just passed the planning board. It was the 2-foot
Impervious
2-foot pervious coverage.
Oh, and that's
around the border of all properties.
Of all properties.
And then also to bring any bus
Bus
stops
shelter
into
didn't
compliance with the ADA for
Okay.
handicap access.
All right, because
so
they
that
didn't,
buses
on
can
the
use
copy
that.
I received, it didn't say this part is new or this part is added. So that's why I was curious.
Yeah.
What was the difference?
The explanation for that is in Ortley Beach in particular, there was a lot of folks that were paving right to the property line.
Oh.
And so there was nowhere for the water to go. So this requires that they put a 2-foot strip
Mm-hmm.
of pervious pavement, either
Exactly.
stone
For the
or
runoff.
grass or something, so the water can run off.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it would just be run off onto the neighbor's property.
Right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Yes, in the back? Hi, could you,
Cindy
please-
Tonkovich, 1210 Coxrow Road, Toms River.
Okay, thank you.
We have 2 questions. This
Okay.
is my husband, Bruce.
Okay,
Within walking distance of our home are at least 4 shoals. We're wondering about your 10-acre ordinance. Are you going to stand by that? And if you are not, are you going to shut down 4 shoals?
I don't know what, first of all, I don't know what you're referring to, but, exactly, but I
You
don't believe we
don't,
can.
George?
No, no, I don't. So what are what are you asking?
What I'm asking you is that we love our neighbors. They've been to our home. They've been in our home. We have no problem with our neighbors. The problem is the walking, the pedestrians are walking with the traffic. They're pushing baby strollers after dark. During the day, great. Love to see it. Everybody's healthy. At night, I have turned the corner myself on 3 occasions in the past week where I could have killed a child. There's a problem. They're not wearing reflectors. They're wearing black from head to toe. Difficult to see, and I'm a good driver.
So what are you,
Okay.
what are you asking?
I'm asking you to put something into effect to let us see them at night. This has been going on for 4 years, and it's not getting any better. It's not a problem with the people. It's not a problem with the religion. The problem is the population is walking, and they're walking wearing black, okay? It's a problem. We have sidewalks, they don't use them. They walk in the street. And the baby goes closest to the traffic. That's a fact. I live there. I hate to say it. It's a fact. And my neighbors are great. I have no problem with my neighbors.
So you're, basically, we're not gonna regulate people walking on the side of the road.
Of course not.
So-
But
so-
can you
and-
ask them to put reflectors?
Again, you know, I don't think it's the township responsibility to ask someone to wear reflective clothing. We've decided to upgrade the lighting on some of the street lighting in the area, but again, you know, we're not, you can't regulate something like that. If people decide to walk on the street, they're permitted to do that, and you might feel that it's not right, but they can do that.
Of course they're allowed to walk on the street. We can all walk on the street.
Right.
But this is a simple concept. If you're walking at night, wear white. It's simple. The end of the story.
Again, okay.
Until somebody gets killed, George,
Can we ask the Toms River GCC?
Well, I was thinking actually of the state of New Jersey has a pedestrian safety program that Toms River already does participate in. We have some of the signs around, and perhaps we could look into, recommending reflective tape and doing some education.
Do
Doing some
an
educational
announcement
stuff,
form.
outreach.
okay, one more thing. The reflector belts are free. The Toms River Jewish Community Council will give them to the people for free.
Okay.
One of our Jewish neighbors told us that on Saturday. His entire problem with the area is the safety of the walkers as well. He's been to my home, they've been to my home, we've invited them in. There's nothing else we can do, but they continue to walk with the flow of traffic after dark, which is against the law, as far as I know.
I don't know that it's against the law.
It's got to be against something. Aren't you supposed to ride with the traffic and walk against it? This is simple. It's
Okay.
simple stuff. It's not about anything else but safety, believe me.
Okay. I don't
Okay.
think it's against the law, though, but all right. Thank you.
Okay, well, maybe it's not.
Okay.
Okay, maybe it's not, but it should be.
Okay. Well, it's not.
Well, it's up to you guys to do something about it. I cannot.
Sure. I got here.
I work all day. I
All right.
cannot.
Thank you. Your husband has a question. Can you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Bruce Tonkovich, live at 1210 Coxco Road.
Thank you.
Been a resident in Toms River for over 45 years.
Yep.
This is changing my way of life in the community. In other words, I don't get what's going on with these mini churches that are going on right across the street from me on 1 acre lots where 20 to 30 men go in there every Saturday. I mean, is that legal?
First of all, if you wanted to have a prayer group in your home and 20 or 30 people on a Saturday, you can do that. And they're not churches and they're not synagogues. Folks are able to have pray in their home, and you can have people that will fit in the home. You know, if you 20 or 30 people, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's totally legal.
It's totally legal, yes, sir.
Okay.
Even though nobody lives there all week.
Well, again, you know, people can own property and not have to live there all week. They can. There's a number of people that own homes that occupy them, part-time, or maybe they occupy them weekends. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe somebody works in New York and they have a house that they come to on the weekend. There's nothing wrong with that.
And what about these B&Bs that are, happening in our area there?
I don't know. Excuse me. What does that mean? What did you say?
Airbnbs.
Airbnbs.
Yeah, the
Again, Airbnbs are permitted, and we regulate them, and there's a code for that.
They're permitted then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was under the assumption they weren't permitted.
So is everybody else.
Airbnbs are swimming pools. You certainly can't rent your swimming pool, and that was in the newspaper.
Now, what about the parking on the street?
Again,
When you got 20 to 30 cars on both sides of the street, and we have to enter it like a tunnel.
Again, if there's absence of no parking signs.
No, do I have to direct myself to engineering?
No, you asked a question. You asked a question if you can park on the sides of the street. And if there's if there's signs that prohibit parking, then you can park on the street as long as it's parked in the appropriate way, so many inches from the curb and so on.
How do I Do I go to the engineering about that?
No.
There's a problem.
Well,
with it.
if there's
And you
a-
guys don't see that?
Again, if you have a problem
you
with,
not see
if
that?
you have a
George,
particular.
George, how can you not
Hey,
see
sir,
it?
Sir, if you're asking me a question, what is your question?
Right, okay, then let me have it.
What is your question?
That's legal to have cars on both sides of the road?
I don't know what street we're referring to, so I
Cox
can't
Crow.
answer that.
Cox Crow.
Cox Crow Road?
That's
It's a
correct.
county road, and I'd have to see what section and whether or not there's, parking is prohibited or not.
Well, there's no signs posted.
Okay, so then parking is
How do you
is
get the signs
permitted.
posted? Do I have to go through
You'd have to go
engineering?
through the county because it's a county road.
County engineering?
Yes,
Okay, that's all I wanted to know,
okay,
you know?
all right.
I answered my own question.
No, you asked a question and we tried to
You
answer it
didn't
for you.
answer it for me, but I
Okay,
answered my
all right,
own.
thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Okay.
good night.
You too. Anyone else?
Seeing none, move to executive session.
Move to close the public comment.
Close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Move to executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances to discuss matters requiring confidentiality and/or of a privileged nature, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean and State of New Jersey as follows. The Township Council will now conduct a private executive session. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed and/or acted upon is as follows. Matters of personnel and attorney-client privilege. The following specific items to be discussed and/or acted upon are as follows. The executive session minutes review of October 8, 2019. Personnel issues of the Township Clerk's Office. It is anticipated that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Council that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. Motion made by Councilman Yurek, seconded by Councilman Turnbach at 7:15, with all in favor to go into executive session at 7:15 PM. Do I have a motion to go back into executive session? All in favor? Aye. Executive session minutes of October 8th, 2019. All in favor? Motion to adjourn? All in favor? Thank you.